Friends, this is the true story of a poor young man who gave up his own education to drive a rickshaw and support his wife's studies, so that one day she could become the chief of police. But when she finally reached that high position, she forgot her husband's identity. She started mingling with rich and powerful officers, and now she's even ashamed to hold her poor husband's hand. She fulfills all her needs through those wealthy men, and in return, she also fulfills their desires. One day, due to this constant neglect and betrayal, that poor husband does something so shocking that it becomes a powerful lesson for everyone in this world. This is the real-life story of a treacherous woman who became chief of police. Her husband had sacrificed everything, working day and night, to help her succeed. But when she became a high-ranking officer, she started abusing her power and refused to even recognize the very man who made it all possible. Unable to bear it any longer, that rickshaw puller husband took an action that you would never even imagine. But what exactly did he do? And what was the ultimate fate of that ungrateful chief of police officer wife? Once you hear the whole story, you will be stunned. So don't skip. Watch this video till the very end. And if you're new to our channel, don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel and Moral Stories right now, so you can be the first to watch more Islamic and educational videos like this. Now, let's begin today's video. There was a rickshaw puller named Suman, around 27 years old. He used to run his household by driving his rickshaw. One day, while he was busy taking passengers through the early lanes of the city, something happened. This was Suman's simple life, filled with hard work, honesty, and sincerity. He drove his rickshaw all day, and with that money, he managed his home. But today was a severe test in his life. As he reached a busy intersection, a traffic police officer named Rashid signaled him to stop. The sternness on the officer's face was clear. In a commanding voice, he said, "Pull your rickshaw over." Suman immediately stopped and politely asked, "What happened, sir? Did I make a mistake?" The officer looked at him sharply. "You broke traffic rules. You'll have to pay a fine." Suman was stunned. He couldn't believe he had done anything wrong. In a soft voice, he replied, "But sir, I didn't break any rules. Please tell me what I did wrong." The officer threatened, "Don't talk too much. Either pay the fine or come to the station." Hearing the word station, a faint smile appeared on Suman's face. It felt like fate was pushing him toward a strange twist in his life. He calmly said, "All right, take me to the station." The police officer found it odd. Usually, people panic when they hear the word station, but this man was calmly agreeing to go. So, the officer asked him to park his rickshaw to the side, and with the help of another officer, he took Suman to Janakpur police station. They brought him to Janakpur police station. Suman was escorted inside. At that time, only 2 people were present inside the station. Just a few days ago, Suman's wife, Monica, had been appointed as the SP, Superintendent of Police. It was Suman who had worked day and night to help Monica reach that position. He had sacrificed his own education to support her studies. He had encouraged her, stood by her, and held on to the hope that one day she would become a high-ranking officer. When Suman entered the station, he was asked to sit on a chair. In the next cabin, SP Monica was on the phone, speaking in a firm and commanding voice. She said, "Listen, I haven't even received my official posting yet. That doesn't give anyone the right to misuse my name. I know how to uphold the dignity of my position. Don't expect any favors from me in the future. And don't try to use my name to escape any wrongdoing." As soon as Suman heard Monica's voice, a faint smile appeared on his face. He had full faith that once Monica realized her husband had been wrongly brought in, she would surely help him. Monica hung up the call and stepped out of her office. In a firm tone, she asked, "Who has been brought in, and why?" "Constable," Rashid replied, "Madam, this man violated traffic rules, and he refused to pay the fine. When Monika's eyes fell on Suman, she paused for a moment, but the very next second, she turned her gaze away and, with a stern expression on her face, said, "If this man won't pay the fine, seize his rickshaw and throw him out of here." Hearing such words from his own wife, Suman felt deeply wounded. He had believed Monika would understand the truth and stand by him. But what was happening now was the complete opposite. He looked at her and said softly, "Monika, are you really doing this?" His lips went dry, and a flicker of pain sparkled in his eyes. This was the same woman for whom he had given up all his comfort and peace just to help her achieve her dreams. The same Monika who once said, "Just let me get a good job once, then you'll never have to struggle again. You won't have to drive a rickshaw anymore." But today, that same woman was trampling all over his sacrifices and pain. A tense silence filled the air inside the station. Everyone present was watching this moment unfold. Some of the officers exchanged glances and even smiled, as if the whole scene was nothing but entertainment to them. The expression on Suman's face showed clear despair. Though his eyes remained dry, his heart was crying out from within. Without saying another word, he turned and walked out of the station. His rickshaw had been seized. Step by step, he made his way toward the road. Each step felt heavier than the last. As he walked along the street, his mind drifted back to those painful days from the past. How he had supported Monika in her studies even after their marriage. How he had given up his own needs to buy books for her. How he had sacrificed everything to help her chase her dream. How he had stayed awake through countless nights, working for her sake. As these thoughts flooded his mind, he finally reached near his home. Suman stood silently at the doorstep. There was a heavy, sorrowful stillness in his eyes. His mother, Rahima Begum, had a worried tone in her voice, but it felt as though she was too overwhelmed to speak much. In a low, weary voice, Suman said, "Yes, Ma." Everything's fine, but a mother's eyes never miss what the heart hides. Rahima Begum looked at him intently and said, "Why does your face look so tired, my son? I feel something's wrong. Is everything all right? How is Monika?" Suman didn't answer. He just looked down at the ground. A tear quietly welled up in the corner of his eye, but he wiped it away, pretending as if nothing had happened. Then he softly said, "Monika is a big officer now, Ma, and I'm just a rickshaw puller. We belong to two different worlds now." He gave a faint smile, but it was the kind of smile that only hides pain. Rahima placed her hand gently on her son's head and said, "My son, the world may forget you, but Allah never forgets anyone. You did what was right. You worked hard. Allah surely has something better planned for you." The night deepened. Moonlight slipped silently through the cracks in the window, spilling softly into the room. Suman lay on his bed, eyes closed, but sleep didn't come. Only one question kept echoing in his mind. What did I do wrong? He knew that only time could answer that. And in time, the truth would be judged. What was real success and what was false? He took a deep breath, then said in a cracked voice, "Ma, Monika has changed so much. She denied even knowing me. She had my rickshaw seized. The very rickshaw with which I helped her become a BCS cadre. Now it's been taken from me." There was pain mixed with quiet anger in his mother's face. She slowly wiped her forehead with her sari and then placed her hand on her son's head, saying, "My dear boy, you gave up everything. You worked day and night. And today, that girl won't even give you respect? Allah will surely deliver justice for this one day." Suman looked at his mother with grief-filled eyes, but he couldn't say anything. In one corner of the room sat little Abdullah, Suman's 6-year-old son. His head was resting in his grandmother's lap. In his small eyes was a blend of curiosity and silent worry, the kind children feel but don't understand. He was quietly playing, his tiny hands busy fiddling with the folds of his grandmother's sari. truth is, Abdullah was more used to his grandmother than his own mother. Monica had always been too busy with her career and studies to give him much attention. The love of a mother was something he rarely felt. With deep sorrow on her face, Rahima Begum whispered, "You gave her everything, my son. Yet, she gives you no respect. She sees you as weak, as poor." But Monica gritted her teeth and said, "You know nothing, Suman. In this city, love and honesty get you nowhere. Without power, influence, and status, people give you nothing," Suman replied in a calm voice. "So that's what you've become now, Monica? Someone who worships power and forgets the people who helped her rise?" "You're right. Maybe I don't have status or influence, but I have something you lost a long time ago: humanity." Monica's eyes flickered for a moment. Her lips trembled, but her pride held firm. She turned her face away and said coldly, "I didn't come here to argue. I came to take my son." Abdullah clung tightly to his grandmother and cried, "No, I don't want to go to Amir's house. I want to stay here with Papa and Grandma." Monica tried to take a step forward, but Suman stood between them and said, "You can't force a child's heart, Monica. He's not a trophy you get to claim when it's convenient. He's a soul, a life. You abandoned him for your ambition." Tears welled up in Monica's eyes, but she quickly wiped them away, unwilling to show weakness. The house fell silent again. The only sound was that of little Abdullah, sobbing quietly in his grandmother's lap. Suman lowered his voice and said, "You once told me, let me get a good job just once, and you'll never have to struggle again. Do you remember that, Monica? Or has success made you forget everything?" Monica stood still. Her pride was fighting a silent war inside her. Without saying another word, she turned around, opened the door, and left. This time, her high heels echoed not with pride, but with a pain she could no longer hide. She forcefully picked up Abdullah and tried to leave the house. Rahima took a deep breath and said, "Monica, one day, you will definitely regret your mistakes when the time comes." Suman simply stood there, watching. His wife was taking their child away by force, and he knew he couldn't stop her. A strange silence fell over Suman's heart. He realized that Monica had made up her mind to take Abdullah away, and he was in no position to stop her. He took a deep breath, bowed his head, and quietly said to his wife, "If this feels right to you, then do what you must." Suman spoke softly, but there was a deep sorrow hidden beneath his words. But 6-year-old Abdullah was not willing to leave his father and grandmother. His innocent eyes filled with tears. Pointing repeatedly with his little finger at his grandmother, he cried, "Grandma, I don't want to go to Mommy. I want to stay with Papa and you." Hearing this, Monica burst out in anger. She suddenly gripped Abdullah's hand tightly, pulled him, and said, "Stop being so stubborn. Come with me now." Even after this, Monica took him to Suda apartment, where her government quarters were. Abdullah now lived in a lonely room, where there was no love or affection. He was no longer receiving his grandmother's warmth or his father's care. When Monica's behavior reached her parents, they became furious. Her father called and asked, "My daughter, do you think what you've done is right?" But Monica, who now held a BCS cadre post, replied coldly, intoxicated with the pride of her position. She told her father, "I don't wish to maintain any relationship with anyone. I'll live my life on my own terms." Her mother tried to reason with her. "My child, Suman risked his own life to educate you, and now you've abandoned him. One day, your pride will take everything away from you." But Monica cut the call before her mother could finish. Her parents were deeply hurt and permanently distanced themselves from her, severing all ties. Meanwhile, her brother Samad also tried to convince her. He called and said, "Sister, what you're doing is wrong. Suman did so much for you, and now you're leaving him. One day you'll surely regret this." But Monica, still full of pride, shouted at her brother too and said, I don't need anyone. All of you live your own lives happily and leave me alone with my status." Hearing this, Samad felt deeply hurt, and he too cut off all ties with his sister. Monica could not properly take care of her son Abdullah on her own, so she hired a caretaker to look after them. One day, the caretaker had taken Abdullah to a market. Coincidentally, Suman's mother, Rahima Begum, was also there, shopping for a few things. As soon as Abdullah's eyes spotted his grandmother, they lit up with joy. He ran over and hugged her tightly, saying, "Grandma, I want to stay with you. I don't want to go back to mommy." Rahima Begum hugged him close and, overwhelmed with emotion, asked, "My dear, what's wrong? Aren't you happy at your mother's place?" There were tears in Abdullah's eyes too. In a soft voice, he told his grandmother, "A lady comes there every day. In the evening, mommy laughs and talks with her for hours. If I stay awake, they force me to sleep. And if I cry, they hit me a lot." Rahima was devastated. She couldn't bear to hear of her grandson's suffering. Her heart grew heavy with pain. She realized they could no longer keep this a secret. As soon as morning came, she called Suman and said, "My son, I need to tell you something, but you'll have to be very strong." Worried, Suman asked, "Mom, what happened?" Rahima Begum took a deep breath and slowly told him everything. How Abdullah had mentioned a stranger who came to his mother's place every day. How he was beaten and slapped. Hearing this, Suman was filled with rage. Here is the English translation of, "They beat him and even slapped him like a thief." Hearing this, Suman became extremely angry. His eyes turned red. He said, "Mother, I can't tolerate this anymore. I can't leave my son there. I'll go and bring him back myself." Rahima nodded and said, "I'll go with you. It's not just you involved in this now. I'm with you too." The next day was a holiday. Without saying anything, Suman went with his mother to Suda apartment, where Monica lived in a government quarter. Reaching the front door, Suman rang the doorbell. A few seconds later, the door opened. Monica's eyes were half asleep when she saw Suman and his mother standing in front of her. Her face suddenly turned pale. In fear, she asked, "What are you two doing here?" Terrified, she said it, but Suman's mother sharply replied, "We've come to see our grandson. Is that a crime?" Monica was speechless. Before she could say anything, Suman gently pushed the door and entered the house. As soon as he walked in, his eyes fell on the bed, where a young man was lying with an odd, shameless expression on his face, while Abdullah lay silently, as if he had been forced to stay there. Seeing this scene, Suman's blood began to boil. He said, "So this is what's been on your mind all along." Monica's voice trembled, but she was visibly furious. Trying to compose herself quickly, Monica said, "Yes, so what? This is my house. Who stays here and who comes here? Only I have the right to decide that." Suman's patience finally snapped. He slapped Monica hard and shouted, "I built this home with my hard work, and now you give space in it to other men, but leave no place for your own husband and child." After being slapped, the young man stood up from the bed and asked, "Who is this angry man who dares to raise his hand on you?" He looked at Monica and asked. Monica replied angrily, "This is my useless, foolish, and stupid husband." Hearing her words, Suman's anger grew even more. But Rahima Begum quickly held his hand and said, "Son, there's no use getting angry at someone like her. A woman who destroyed her own family can't be reasoned with." Suman then picked up his son in his arms and said, "Abdullah, I can't keep you here for even a moment longer. Come with me." At that, Monica laughed and said, "Don't even think about taking my son. He's my child, and I won't even let you touch him." With tears in his eyes, Suman replied, "If you truly loved your child, then you would have fulfilled your responsibilities as a mother. You wouldn't have chosen to live with other men." Now that the whole truth had come out, Monica was ready to play her final card. She said, "All right, if you want to act so righteous, then go ahead. But before you leave, you need to sign these papers." She threw a document toward them. When Rahima Begum picked it up, she saw that it was a divorce paper. Monica had already prepared everything in advance for the divorce. There was no rage on Suman's face. He calmly picked up a pen and, without saying a word, signed the papers. Now, there was no longer any relationship between them. Suman said to Monica, "Monica, I hope your life becomes happy." With that, he picked up Abdullah in his arms and walked out. His mother, Rahima Begum, followed behind him. After a while, Suman sat in a corner, lost in deep thought. The divorce was finalized, and Monica was now completely out of his life. But this broken relationship had perhaps left behind many unanswered questions in his heart. What happens next? He asked himself. Meanwhile, Rahima Begum stayed close to her son. By now, they had returned to their own home. One thought kept circling their minds. What can we do now to keep our household running? They searched the entire house, hoping to find something they could sell to manage for a few days. Because Monica had confiscated Suman's rickshaw and had it impounded at the police station, they had no source of income. That's why they were searching for anything valuable they could sell to survive for a few days until they could figure out another plan. While Rahima Begum was searching the whole house, their eyes fell upon an old paper tucked at the very bottom of a chest. They pulled it out and examined it carefully. Rahima Begum looked at her son and said, "Son, this is a land deed." A land deed. Begum said to her son, "Son, this is a land deed, and this land is registered in our name." Suman was surprised. "Where is this land?" he asked. He started reading the deed carefully, and after thoroughly reading it, he found the location of the land. He said, "This land is in Shirudarat in Kolab. Mom, it has now become a very expensive area. It's like the present-day Gulshan and Baridara areas in Dhaka." Suman said, "The price of this land is now worth more than crores of taka." Hearing this, a light of hope sparked in Rahima Begum's eyes. The very next day, Suman contacted a property agent to find out the current price of the land. When the agent told him the price, he was astonished. The land could be sold for crores and crores of taka. Without wasting any time, they completed the entire legal process quickly and sold the land. Within a few weeks, crores of taka were deposited into Suman's account. Now there was no shortage of money. Suman bought a big and beautiful house where his mother and son could live comfortably. This house was much bigger and more comfortable than their previous home. All the sorrows, hardships, and problems of the previous place were now gone. Afterwards, Suman made an important decision to complete his studies. He had always been intelligent in his studies, but he had abandoned his education halfway because of someone named Moni. But now, no one could stop him. Suman said to his mother, "Mom, I will start studying again and get a good job." With confidence, he told his mother this. His mother, Rahima Begum, prayed for him. "Certainly, son, your hard work will bear fruit one day." Meanwhile, Rahima Begum took a new initiative. She started a pickle and papad, crispy snack, making business at home. For this, she engaged her old acquaintance Sabina to help her. Gradually, their business started growing and their hard work began to succeed. Suman focused day and night on his studies. He gave his complete attention to his goal. After nearly 2 years, his hard work paid off, and he passed the government exam, becoming a police superintendent, SP. This news spread through the entire area like wildfire. Everyone said, "A rickshaw puller has become an SP." Through hard work and focus, he reached a height that once seemed impossible. TV channels and newspapers began to feature his story. Reporters came to his home and started interviewing his mother. Tears of joy shimmered in Rahima Begum's eyes. Siyat, Journalists asked his mother, "What did you teach your son to help him achieve such success?" Rahima Begum, Suman's mother, smiled and said, "I only taught him to believe in his hard work. He made that bag by himself." Now, when Suman had become an SP, Superintendent of Police, he made an interesting decision. He arranged his posting in the same area where Monica was posted. After a few days, he took up his new posting at the Power Building in Janakpur. Now, he was the Superintendent of Police of the entire district, and Monica was the DSP, Deputy Superintendent of Police, of that district. Time waits for no one. Monica, who used to show off her power, began to deteriorate day by day. Meanwhile, a big event was about to take place at the police station. A party was going to be held under the leadership of the new SP, Suman. Opinions were taken from all the officers. Monica also agreed and said, "Okay, have the party." She consented to the proposal. The next day, the party was held. Meanwhile, the stage was prepared where senior officers would give speeches. Monica was also invited so she could say a few words. But when she went up on the stage, darkness fell before her eyes. She thought to herself, "All this time, how much injustice have I done to my husband? Today I have to call him sir. My time is over." While thinking this, she felt dizzy. Her face flushed, and she rushed off the stage. Seeing this, the entire hall fell silent. Everyone ran to her and said, "DSP Madam has fainted." She was quickly taken to the hospital. The doctors examined her and said that her condition was due to weakness and mental stress. When Suman arrived at the event, he heard that the DSP Monica had fainted and been admitted to the hospital. Hearing this, Suman was stunned. How could a DSP be in such a condition? Why did this happen? She thought maybe Monica, realizing her mistakes, was now truly regretting them. Life had completed a full circle. The very person she once insulted and threw out had now risen above her. Today, she herself had become humiliated. Monica now wanted only one chance: to correct her mistakes, to embrace her son again, and to make things right with her past. Monica was completely broken now. Dark circles were visible under her eyes. Her face was gaunt, and her hair disheveled. The woman who once held great pride in herself was now defeated in her own life. One day, gathering some courage, she went to the market. She hadn't eaten properly for many days and knew she needed food, but because of exhaustion, she often fainted. When she went to buy food, her eyes fell upon Rahima Begum, her former mother-in-law, whose shop she had come to buy groceries from. Monica's heart pounded hard with fear, but still, she mustered courage and approached her former mother-in-law. "Maji, how are you?" Monica said. Rahima Begum looked at her suddenly, but couldn't see clearly without her glasses. She asked, "Who are you, mother? Why do you call me Maji?" Monica's voice choked with tears. She bowed down and touched her mother-in-law's feet. "Maji, I am Monica, your son's wife. I have committed many sins, mother." Rahima Begum's face softened. She was surprised, but her heart ached seeing Monica's state. She said, "Get up, mother." She wiped her hands and lifted Monica up, hugging her for the first time. "I have realized my mistakes, Maji. I want to come back to my family. I want to live with you all again. I want to keep my son close to me. I want to fix my wrongs. Can I be your son's wife again?" Tears welled up in Rahima Begum's eyes. She just said, "You have come very late, mother. But if you understand your mistakes, then come back to our family." That evening, Monica returned home with Rahima Begum. Suman opened the door. Seeing his former wife standing there, he stopped for a moment. Suman asked, "Why have you come?" There was no anger in his voice, only fatigue, and his mind recalled all of Monica's past actions. Monica shook her head and said, "Forgive me, Suman. I have lost everything in life: money, wealth, power. But having money and power alone doesn't bring happiness. I have lost my family, meaning I have nothing left in life now. But I want to live as a mother, a wife, and a human being. If you give me permission, I want us to start our family again. I want us to live together again, raise our son together once more. Abdullah was standing behind the door listening to everything. He ran forward and said, "Mom, you've come back." He hugged his mother tightly. Suman silently watched all this. Then Suman said, "The door of this house has always been open for you, but because of your pride and stubbornness, you left this family. But for what you did to me, to our son, and to my mother in the past, can you be forgiven? Can I forget everything and accept you again as my wife?" Hearing this, Monica regretted deeply and started crying a lot. So friends, what do you think? Should Monica be forgiven? You can let us know by commenting below. Also, friends, please tell us how you liked today's video by commenting. If you want to get more Islamic and educational videos like this, you must subscribe to our N Qural Stories YouTube channel right now so that you can watch new Islamic videos first. See you in the next video. Until then, may Allah grant us the ability to understand rightly. Don't forget to write Ameen in the comments. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.